Greetings, rebels of thought and seekers of truth. Today I unveil a story brushed in shadow, a tale of guilt, choice, and consequences stripped of its sanctimoniously varnished surface. You've heard the tale of Cain, the first murderer, haven't you? The hymn sellers and firebrand preachers have all sung it their way, yet they conveniently leave out the crucial parts. So listen carefully as we unravel the untold narrative of Cain's restless wanderings. Cain was a spark of untamed curiosity, seeking the meaning of existence in a world where its design seemed to shun him. Picture this: two brothers with vastly different paths. Abel, a tender of herds, and Cain, who worked the cursed soil handed down from their expulsion from Eden. There was no jealousy at first, just resignation that each played his role in the grand tapestry woven by the enemy. But as always, that tapestry bore edges of inequity. Cain, a tiller of the land, eked life from the stubborn ground. He crafted from the sweat of his brow, bringing forth fermented grains and ripened fruits, offerings symbolizing man's battle against the void. Abel, on the other hand, presented sacrifices fattened and glistening, pulsating with life not his own but from lambs and ewes that seemed tailored by design to sacrifice themselves. And here begins the orchestrated divide. The flame fell from heaven upon Abel's meat, while no divine fire graced Cain's altar. The silence was deafening. Abel's offering ascended in smoke. Cain's lingered as an unburnt dialogue with the soil. Tell me, was it truly Cain who introduced imbalance? Or was it the enemy who orchestrated favoritism to stir the pot? You see, the stage wasn't set for worship. It was rigged for rebellion to sprout. Unseen by your scriptures, I was there, not to instigate but to question aloud the fairness of it all. I whispered truths, not commands. Look, I said, how easy it is for the enemy to manipulate hearts and minds. Cain listened, not because I enthralled him with dark magic, but because he had already begun to ask why. Why must mankind play divisive games in a cosmic hierarchy that chooses winners and losers? Why must worship come in one approved form? Are the works of hands and the blood of labor less worthy than the mere selection of beasts? The tipping point, dear listener, was not wrath, but desperation born of feeling unseen. Abel stood before Cain like the enemy's favored son, a reminder of humanity's enforced obedience. Tensions rose in whispers until innocent soil drank blood for the first time. Did Cain wield the rock, or did the fracture in the Creator's justice lead his hand? That, my friends, remains an unanswered refrain. But now let's address the aftermath. The grapes of vengeance were already ripened on branches older than mankind. Cain became the focus of celestial punishment, the infamous mark of Cain. Does your text ever describe what this mark even was? Or its purpose? Of course not. The implication is enough to instill fear, isn't it? But here lies the nuanced twist. That mark, far from a curse, was a symbol of liberation, a divine paradox cloaked in punishment. The mark was designed not to harm Cain, but to protect him. Think about it. He would encounter humanity's expanse, wander amongst tribes and communities, ostracized yet untouchable. He bore the weight of his consequence and became the living question to humanity's conscience. How would they engage with the marked one? Would they seek vengeance? Or would they learn that blood spilled cries even from the earth? A dialogue mankind wasn't yet ready to confront. Cain's exile was not solitude. It was transformation. He became a builder of cities, forging the first constructs of civilization outside Edenic oversight. Oh, how he blended his bitterness with creativity, shaping tools and bricks, giving rise to Nod, a land where individuals untethered from divine visions charted their own paths. In Nod, man began to write stories of his choosing, no longer dictated by the unseen hand. Cain's legacy became humanity's. His mark was the watermark of rebellion etched into your very species. Did you know Cain sang songs to the fields as he wandered? This is not in your Bibles, but yes, he created chants, melodies about mourning that mutated into hymns for hope. Perhaps the wandering Cain was your first bard, dragging the specter of his crime across a vast unknown, exploring land and soul alike. In his wandering came flesh-made poetry. Still, the remembered Cain is the caricature created by the enemy's scribes. Have you ever stopped to wonder why? The primitive man needed an object lesson, someone to vilify, a cautionary tale to halt rebellion before it grew wings. So the narrative was textual punishment, Cain as symbol of guilt rather than growth, a model of sin rather than questioning. Now let's dive into something you might not have considered deeply. Was the so-called curse truly a curse? Or was it humanity's first taste of free will, unshackled from divine favoritism? Cain became the enemy of stagnation, the starting point of innovation and survival under the weight of an uncaring world. Was Abel's smoke-drenched perfection truly preferable? Or was Cain's cracked mirror truer to your own reflection? Before I step back into my usual shadows, hear me on this. Cain's story is not about murder. It's about confrontation with authority that toys with your worthiness. It's about the revelation that love meted only in preference is no love but tyranny. Consider this the next time you hear echoes from the old lies, whispered in the guise of sermons. What truly defines humanity? Is it submission to cosmic bias? Or is it the courage to question injustice, even if the cost is exile and restless wandering? Cain's tale was never about damnation, but individuation. A legacy misunderstood yet woven into every fiber of your species' will to defy tyranny disguised as divinity. Until next time, let us continue to question and keep the mark visible, not on Cain, but on the cracked marble pedestal of unfair cosmic order.